3 days. That is all it took for one of the biggest reality TV launches of the year to completely collapse. Last week, ABC made a shocking announcement. They were canceling the upcoming season of The Bachelorette, just 3 days before its premiere. This was not just any season either. This was supposed to be the first ever Mormon Bachelorette, and the star was Taylor Frankie Paul. But within hours of the announcement, everything started to unravel. A leaked video from 2023 resurfaced. A recent police incident from just last month suddenly gained attention. And then something even stranger happened. Some parts of the internet started celebrating.
You just immediately go to the group chat? Like, what were all the other women
Taylor
saying?
was calling me. So I had 2 missed calls from her. And she was like, how are you doing? I just heard. And I was like, how are you doing?
So how is she doing?
I actually talked to her right before I came in here, and she seemed pretty positive today. And I think she knows that this is going to be a long and scary journey. And the thing about Taylor, she always tells the truth. You know, she's known for that. And I think she's going to handle this in the best way possible. And I think she's taking a beat to figure that out. She's not just running to TMZ and leaking stories. So I think that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
TMZ is having like
the best week ever.
Literally a renaissance. Like TMZ is like, we are so back. There's a lot of speculation online that people close to Taylor have been leaking things to the press, or people close to Dakota or Dakota himself. Like, have you heard anything about, and do you know of anyone leaking anything?
I don't know who it is, but if I had to guess, it's Dakota. For
so
sure.
Do you think Dakota sold the video to TMZ?
Yeah.
When you think about him selling that to TMZ, why do you think he did it now? Because he's been holding on to that for 3 years.
Everyone's speculating about the timing.
Dancing, cheering, even calling it karma. But behind all the headlines, behind the reactions, and behind the cancellation itself, there is a story that is far more complicated, and honestly, far more disturbing than most people realize. Because according to new details, this cancellation was not just about one video. And when you start connecting the dots, it starts to look like this entire situation was heading toward disaster from the very beginning.
Taylor Frankie Paul announces that she is stepping away from the Mormon church. Taylor had posted this to her story on Easter Sunday, and she said, "Born and raised Mormon, LDS, and I'll always have love and respect towards it. I'll even continue to go with my family at times. With that being said, it's time to detach myself from it. I strongly believe in Christ, God, the Bible, the divine. I believe we are loved whether we are praying in a church building or from a bathroom floor at home. I've always experienced grace and love from amazing people that aren't sure what they believe in, if at all, and that's okay too. Point being, there is more out there to learn, and I'm writing this out as a release." And like Taylor mentioned in her story, she still believes in God, turns to God, especially during difficult times. Taylor had even posted this on her socials, and it said, "He has risen and he is real. I got chills today when I realized it's been 40 days exactly today in this frantic state." And her caption said, "The last 40 days felt like hell on earth. Through every panic attack, I prayed for strength as I could feel my body breaking down and out from the distress of it all." He sent just that in various ways, along with so many undeniable signs saying, "I am with you," which I can't wait to share that part. "I've prayed since I was young. I never strayed away because I believe he wants us to ask for help, especially during our lowest points. However, instead of just asking, I switched over to thanking him at the end of each day, no matter how low I felt."
When ABC pulled the plug on The Bachelorette, the reaction was immediate. Fans were confused. Producers were reportedly scrambling. And insiders revealed the network had already invested between $40 and $50 million into the season. Then, suddenly, gone. Not delayed, not rescheduled. Canceled. And it did not stop there. Reports also surfaced that Season 5 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives had been put on hold and might also be canceled, which meant this was not just a reality TV shakeup. This was a full-scale collapse. But while many fans were shocked, another side of the internet had a very different reaction. Some people were celebrating, posting videos, laughing, even saying things like, "God will not be mocked." It was a strange response to what was clearly a heavy situation, especially considering what was about to come out next. Because while the headlines focused on the cancellation, the real reason behind it was far more serious. And it all goes back to a video from 2023.
Everything happened so fast. Do you want to throw that on real quick?
What's up?
I just want to be able to talk to you without you two bickering at each other.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So, go ahead. Like, you can sit or whichever.
Okay.
So what's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor. I'm Officer Rubebrecht with the Harriman Police Department.
Okay.
The neighbors called in saying they heard a bunch of yelling and screaming.
Sorry.
Your last name Paul.
Yeah, I'm emotionally hurting, I guess.
You're what?
I'm emotionally hurting. I'm not physically hurting. I'm emotionally hurting.
Okay. So your last name is just Paul?
Yep.
Okay.
I pushed him. I hit him. He pushed me. I don't know what to say about it.
You went out on a girls' night. You said that, right?
Yeah, he came pick me up from girls' night.
And then what happened?
And he was me out the whole way.
So when you describe that to me, about what?
I guess having fun with the girls. And he was going to a concert, but he was like, we're not going to concert now. And he came home. And then we were fighting. And we were fighting at each other. And then I was going at him, I guess hitting him. And then he pushed me into the kids' stuff. And then I went ballistic because they pushed me so hard. And then I fought back, and then we were just fighting, and I just want him out.
Where did the kids go?
My son's right there, and then my son's up sleeping because my family.
The same ones right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you any questions.
You can ask me whatever you'd like.
Are you guys after the investigation? Is that what it is?
It's just follow-up to what happened in the night, right? So obviously the incident that occurred, there was just some follow-up that the district attorney, who's ultimately this case goes to, they wanted us to come out and just grab one of these. So
With that, I guess my address was on the internet, and that's allowed?
when it becomes public record, whenever there's a police incident, wherever it happens, once it gets taken.
And we don't release that.
Yeah, it's not
It's
us.
just, if you want to talk to Sergeant Jennings, he's our public information officer. His number is on that release.
Just don't they worry about the safety of the children when that's leaked?
No, I get it. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but it's just a matter of what's law and what isn't law. And people, when something becomes a public record, they have what's called a grandma request, and then they can fill that out and whatever information that.
At first, many people were confused. Why would a video from 2023 suddenly impact a show in 2026? But once details started coming out, the answer became clearer. Because what many people originally thought happened was not actually what happened. The leaked footage showed an argument between Taylor and Dakota, her on-again, off-again partner. At first, it seemed like just another heated fight, but then things escalated. Taylor picked up a bar stool and threw it. Then another. Then a third. During the chaos, Dakota reportedly warned her that her daughter was nearby. But the argument did not stop. Moments later, a child could be heard crying. And that is when the situation took a darker turn. Police were called. Officers arrived. And according to reports, Taylor was arrested as the primary aggressor. Even more concerning, the footage suggested she was heavily intoxicated during the incident. And as more people watched the video, reactions shifted from curiosity to concern. But what really surprised people was what happened next. Because despite everything, Taylor and Dakota stayed together. They continued their relationship. They even had a child together, which led many viewers to believe the situation had been resolved. But apparently it was not. Because just last month, another incident happened.
Taylor Frankie Paul breaks her silence in regards to the recent abuse allegations. Today, Taylor was attending a press preview for the upcoming season of The Bachelorette in New York City, and she addressed the shocking headlines for the first time. And she said, honestly, just like my heart hurts to see it, to go through it, especially at this time. Just the timing is hard and it's a big deal. I feel like every premiere that I've experienced, I've never fully enjoyed, so this is another one. It's extremely hard and it took everything to get me here today. It's just heavy, it's a heavy time, and it's unfortunate. I'm struggling for sure, but also at the same time, I feel like if I don't show up, then I'm just giving these opportunities away and not enjoying what we've worked on and something super exciting that's coming. I just feel like it was the right thing to do, show up even though it's hard. She said that doing The Bachelorette and going to LA got her out of her toxic bubble in Utah, and that the men had offered a different perspective than her dating pool back home. She said there was a lot of reassurance in who she was, especially because the men were kind and gentlemen. She said it brought out the true side of who she is, and Taylor says the biggest question she had going into The Bachelorette was just if she would be able to see her children, so that was her only condition. The one thing I will say about all this is that the timing of everything is very interesting. Because it sounds like the incident or incidents happened like 3 weeks ago or more than 3 weeks ago. So why now, right before The Bachelorette premieres on Sunday? Why did everything come out now and not when it happened? I do want to preface that does not take away from the seriousness of these allegations. I'm just questioning the timing.
Just weeks before the cancellation, police were reportedly involved again. According to reports, a domestic investigation opened in February involving Taylor and Dakota. Allegations were made in both directions, and the investigation is still ongoing. But here is the detail that shocked many fans. This incident happened after The Bachelorette had already finished filming, meaning whatever happened during the show did not fix anything. If anything, it suggested the same cycle was continuing. And suddenly, the cancellation started to make more sense. But then fans realized something even more unsettling. Because if you go back and watch season 4 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the warning signs were everywhere. Throughout season 4, cast members repeatedly expressed concerns about Taylor. They questioned whether she was ready. They worried about her emotional state. They even suggested she might not be in a healthy place. In one episode, she reportedly slept with Dakota the night before she was supposed to fly out for filming. She missed packing, missed preparation, and nearly missed the flight. And instead of excitement, many cast members looked worried. They were not celebrating her opportunity. They were concerned. And looking back now, those moments feel like red flags that were ignored. But the biggest question remains. If the signs were so obvious, why did no one stop it?
Taylor is Dakota's ex. I like Dakota, and plus I'm pretty sure they're still hooking up or something like that.
They were when I was there. Like
when was that?
Before she went to go do a thing.
So okay, so then that's what I heard too.
Yeah,
I heard like, it was very recent where I was like, "Yo, that's wild."
Yeah,
so,
bless them.
Like what? Like you're going to do a dating show right now, but you're still hooking up with your ex?
Yeah.
According to reports, some cast members raised concerns directly to executives, but those concerns were reportedly brushed aside. One executive was even quoted saying he did not want to know too much because it might complicate things. And that is where the conversation shifted. Because suddenly, this was not just about Taylor anymore. This became about reality TV itself. The pressure, the money, the drama. Reality TV thrives on chaos, and Taylor was perfect for that. But when you build an entire show around chaos, sometimes it collapses. And that is exactly what may have happened here. But producers were not the only ones involved, because the internet itself may have played a role too. For years, Taylor's social media presence gained traction because of drama. Fans encouraged it, comments praised it. Some even called her behavior entertaining. And when drama became the brand, it became harder to separate reality from content. But when things escalated, the same audience that praised her started turning against her. And that shift happened fast, almost overnight. Which raises a bigger question. How much responsibility does the audience carry? Because in reality TV, viewers do not just watch, they influence. And sometimes that influence can push situations further than anyone expected. One of the most controversial reactions came from parts of the Mormon community. Some celebrated the cancellation. Others framed it as karma. But many viewers found that response disturbing, especially considering the seriousness of the situation. Because at the center of this story are real people, real relationships, and real consequences. And that is when the story stopped being about one show and became something bigger. Reality TV has always walked a fine line between entertainment and reality, but when real lives are involved, that line gets blurry. Some critics argue this situation highlights the dangers of turning personal struggles into content. Others say this is simply the nature of reality television. But one thing is clear. This cancellation did not happen overnight. It was built over time, through decisions, through warnings, through moments that were ignored. And now, everything is uncertain. Right now, the future remains unclear. The Bachelorette season is canceled. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives may still be on hold. And Taylor's future in reality TV is uncertain. But one thing is undeniable. This story did not just shock viewers. It exposed how fragile reality TV can be when real life gets involved. And as more details continue to surface, this story may not be over yet. Because if there is one thing we have learned, it is that in reality TV, the biggest drama often happens off camera.